What's up guys, my name is Kiernan Fagan and I'm going to be showing you guys how I made my first ever short film with zero crew and zero budget. So the idea first came about when I was in Utah and I was talking to my friend Dylan Baker, who also has a love for cinema and movies. And I was like, you should come out to Colorado and we should shoot something at some point this winter. And then on the phone I decided, I was like, you know what, if we're gonna all be together making a project, why don't we just put more time and effort into it, do a narrative driven piece and actually make a short film. Now we have no money to put into this project, no crews. I tried to get a bunch of people on board, but it is extremely difficult, especially where I'm shooting. So I just got my two close friends, Dylan and Sawyer, and then my twin brother, Deven. It's about 1 month before shooting Echoes of the Snow. Very excited for what's to come. You know, 1 month, we're all gonna be out here. Pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Looking up at Deven and Sawyer driving up and like do some handheld like entire first sequence done in 1 day. Another big catalyst for me making this project is I've been trying to get into acting and all these movies, and what you're doing is really just waiting for somebody to give you a shot. You're waiting for somebody to see the potential and see if you're worth it or not. And 99% of the time, they don't see it and they don't give you the shot, which makes sense because the majority of people who are saying, yes, I'm the one who can do it, usually can't do it. Because I wanted to prove to people what I could do, and I was sick of waiting around, waiting for somebody else to take a bet on me. Going to these big agencies, trying to make your own projects, nobody's just gonna sit around and give you the shot. You can prove yourself time and time again. You can bring so much to the table, so much to them, and they still don't give you the shot. You can't rely on that and say, well, look, I gave it my all, I tried my best, and they said no, it didn't work out. I was so sick of that, and I was like, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I want to do in my life. Am I gonna let somebody else dictate that, or am I gonna dictate that? So that's why I went all into this project, to show what I can do completely on my own with the help of nobody else. The war ended 11 years ago, but out here, it don't feel like it. Peace don't reach places like this. There's a job, a mission, highly classified, completely off the books. You boys in, or you boys out? This whole place is a graveyard.
That's what I like to call innovation.
You feel like a hero? We were going straight into hell and we didn't even know it yet.
I've been through hell and back.
Yes, this is my first short film, an official film project I've done, but I've been shooting videos since I was about 12 years old. So I've devoted the last basically 10 to 12 years of my life to just filming and editing 24/7 back when I was competing in skiing. And then when I got more into fitness, I really started going more into YouTube videos. What I would do is I'd see these cinematic movies, I'd go recreate the movie clips, start adding more cinematic stuff and maybe even a little bit of narrative driven stuff into my projects, because I always knew I wanted to go into directing, acting, and making my own movies. I really have devoted my life to this, even though I haven't officially made an actual film before. What we did is worked on the script for about 2 to 3 months, I would say. And then we all came out to Colorado, we shot for 4 days, and now I've been in post-production for the last month and a half. I knew this was gonna be so much work going into the project and into the film, but it ended up being even more than I initially anticipated, which is usually how everything pans out. When you try to do something big, it ends up being twice as hard, twice as difficult. You go through so many more challenges, but I think that's the beauty in it, because it really makes you have to push through, and it shows yourself what you're really capable of. I had just recently bought my red Komodo X, which is a camera they've used, I believe, in Superman, Lord of the Rings, a bunch of big movies, mainly for action shots, but it shoots 6K RAW, and I was like, you know what, I think we really have a shot at making something good here. What a lot of people don't realize if they're not working in the film industry and have been a part of projects is how much work truly goes into something, because the pre-production process is months long. The shooting process is the shortest, but that's because everything's been planned out. But it is an absolutely brutal process, especially when you don't have the crews and the teams helping you out. And then the post-production process, which I've done 100% myself, is one of the most challenging, difficult things. So I've already done over 150 hours of editing, and I still have about maybe 20 plus hours to go, but it's one of the most brutal tasks I've ever taken on myself. And it made me realize, you know, I don't want to have to ever do this again. I want to have a team. Not only will that make the project better, but it'll make it a lot easier as well for yourself and for everyone else. When you're just starting out, you have to go out there and do it yourself to prove to people what you can do. So the majority of people that don't work in the film industry and haven't been a part of projects, I don't think they quite realize how much work actually goes into it, and it makes you hold a new respect for movies. So when I was acting in my first feature, other short films, and some bigger commercial projects, I really saw how much work goes in to literally a 20-second scene. How many people have to come together, how many days, if months, if not years of preparation it took for that one day. And to think that somebody's just gonna watch that on their TV and look away, they don't even care about the movie, go get some food, and they're like, oh, this shit sucks, is kind of funny, because the amount of people that came together to make that happen, you have to hold a level of respect for that. So even when I see a movie that's absolutely terrible, acting's absolutely horrible, I still hold a level of respect, because I'm like, you know, so many people came together, they tried to do something great, and even though it didn't work out, you have to respect the effort, you know, for any movie. And so many people are just quick to sit on their couch and judge absolutely everything that's going on, but those people actually went out there and did something. So if you want to make your own movie, you want to make your own film, even if you're shooting on an iPhone and you have your friends together, at least you went out and tried. There's a level of respect, and I think actual big people in the industry will always respect that, because everybody has to start somewhere, and to see somebody going out and trying is a beautiful thing. First day on set, we went out onto this big frozen lake. Now, what was brutal about this project is it was shot outside for the majority, middle of the winter, freezing cold days. We had 10-hour days on set, and we're having to walk a half mile out into the woods some of these days. So I have a 50-pound duffel bag, or 50-pound like wheelie bag I'm carrying, as well as all the props, the other cameras. We have to trek out through the snow to just get to the location. And then batteries were dying quick because we're shooting outside in the cold. The amount that goes into the behind the scenes, it really is what makes the end so rewarding. We end up shooting that first 10-hour day. We were absolutely so tired, barely sleeping, and our next day of shooting, we had to go out into the woods at night. We didn't have any external lighting we used on this film. All the night scenes were shot just using fire. So we had torches, we had campfires. What you don't realize when you're watching the project is that we had to keep those fires and those torches going for hours on end to shoot the scenes we needed to get. So the first campfire day, we actually weren't allowed to have a campfire there. Cars were driving by in the distance. We'd have to use our jackets and like cover up the fire so we wouldn't get in trouble. And we just had to be extremely quick and streamlined to shoot exactly what we needed to get. When you're not working with a crew, and it was just the four of us, which we were all acting in the project and we were all shooting everything as well. So it was really hard to focus on one role. When other people were in scenes, I would just go full director mode and focus on the shooting, exactly what needs to be done. And then when I was acting, I was trying to put 100% of my attention to the acting. But it's definitely a lot more difficult not being able to have your head just in one avenue. After that second day of shooting, we ended up hitting up a local bar that recently opened, which has some cool old school European vibes. And they said we're going to be able to shoot for a few hours in there before they open, literally the following day. So we weren't planning on this whatsoever. We ended up staying up till 3 in the morning, writing a script, developing scenes of where we could fit this into the film, and shooting in an indoor location definitely elevated the film a lot and made it look a bit higher budget than it actually was, which was zero budget. So that was super cool, but we were basically running off no sleep after being up till 3 in the morning. We went in, shot all the scenes we needed to get there, and then that night we went back out to the frozen lake and it was time to shoot the torch scenes. We're walking a half mile out in middle of the night, and I have my 50-pound bag, the gimbal in my other hand. I end up slipping or like falling down this 2-foot step, just absolutely rolled my ankle so bad. I thought I completely broke it. I'm like, I just broke my ankle. My ankle's broken. And it ended up just being sprained, so I was able to walk for a bit after that. And then we have the lighter fluid to keep the torches going, so we end up breaking the cap off the lighter fluid. We can't even get into it, and we're all trying for about 15 minutes. We're like, we're completely screwed. So we end up finding this Allen key, and I'm just jamming the top of the metal container with this Allen key, trying to puncture a hole in it. All of us are trying, can't do it. And then I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just going as hard as I can. So I literally just pierce through the container of lighter fluid, and it just shoots up and goes straight in my eyeball. I'm like freaking out, rubbing snow in my eyes. My ankle's sprained. I can barely even move. And then that whole process finally gets dealt with, and we're like, okay, let's just take a breath. We're gonna be good to go. So we end up dousing the torches in lighter fluid, and we light them up, and we're like, okay, we're probably only gonna have 45 seconds, a minute, I have no idea how long, to shoot this scene of Deven and Sawyer both walking. So we're like, we need to be as streamlined as absolutely possible. So torches light, they stand up, the wind immediately blows them out. And keep in mind, we have no lighting. Fire was the only source, the only way this was gonna be possible. So I was like, we're screwed, we're done. And that's when you have to start thinking quick as a director and figure out a solution. So I was like, I could have one of my friends or my parents bring a lantern to shoot with, and we could use 2 lanterns, but the torches were going to be so much cooler. So I ended up having my parents grab a bunch of rags and old white shirts, and my dad and mom both drove to the location at like 10 o'clock at night, brought all the stuff. We ended up wrapping them up with white t-shirts, rags, and then using wire to tie them to the torch. Doused in lighter fluid, and we had about a minute and a half per shot. So we ended up getting everything we needed that night in a couple hour span, but we had to keep going back and just re-upping the torches. And it was a very high stress situation for everybody trying to work that quick, make it all happen. And that's where it really starts pulling focus away from the actual ability we could have executed on if we even had one filmer or one person on the crew. I just want to use this project as a catalyst to push us forward in the future. We had some really big people view the project at some very big companies like Paramount, and some big managers see what we're doing, and this is only the first little micro proof of concept, which isn't even really showing what we're truly capable of if we get a full team and devote our time to something. So right now I'm actually working on my next film, and I've been doing 10-hour days. I've had about 15 phone calls a day. I'm sending like 8 emails, 25 DMs going out to absolutely everybody. I'm learning so much in this process, but for a one-man job, trying to make something that literally looks Hollywood grade and getting full locations, equipment, and crews has definitely been a huge struggle. But I know once we prove what we can really do and people see us release something that is truly up to par with some of these Hollywood producers, I think they're gonna really give us a shot, and we're gonna be able to make a movie within the next year.
There's a quiet illusion most of us grow up believing, that one day, someone will arrive and declare who we are, that they'll see the potential, hand us the opportunity, open the door we've been standing in front of. But the people who truly move the world forward don't wait for doors to open. They build the door when no door exists. It isn't recognition that defines you. It's who you chose to become long before anyone noticed. No one's coming to do it for you. Once you understand that, you realize the power was always in your hands to shape the life that you intend to live. I read something once that said, "You are not remembered for the moments you stood in, but for the choices you made before them." And that always stayed with me, because what looks like a single moment is really the accumulation of a lifetime of hard work, discipline, and calculated decisions. So whatever it is you want to do in life, know that anything is truly possible if you work hard enough, and that you can turn any dream into a reality. So for all of you watching, go chase your dreams.
If you're thinking about going out and creating something, just go out there and do it. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter what crews and budgets you have. If you truly have the skill set, you put enough work into it, you can make something truly epic. I also started my own production company, FM, or Fagan Motionworks, where I'm going to be producing short films, commercials, mainly narrative and story-driven projects, and doing a feature film. Definitely in 2027, if not at the end of 2026. Now I'm really just trying to build out everything myself, and people will be coming on board as we keep progressing and leveling up. But you really have to take whatever you want in your own hands and go out there and do it yourself, and not wait on somebody else to give you an opportunity. It's really cool just to go from that first phone call where we're like, wait a minute, I think we can actually do this, to being on the phone 8 to 10 hours a day, going over absolutely everything, pre-planning every single shot, every single angle and thing we want to do in this film, and watching it come to life is truly a fulfilling process and a fulfilling feeling. Now I'm just really excited to see what's to come. What's difficult is how long of a process this is, because I have multiple movies written that I will 100% be doing at some point in my life, whether that takes 3 years, whether that takes 30 years. I'm waiting until I can get proper budgets in the multi-millions to make these projects the level I know they should be executed on and can be executed on. But I basically have the infrastructure planned out of what I want to do over the next 3 years. But what is quite unfortunate is how slow of a process that is, because the things I'm thinking in my head and I want to execute right now won't be executed for years to come. But it's going to be a great journey, and I'm super excited. France, 3 days. Some men try to outrun the law, others try to outrun death.
I've been through hell and back.
For the Lord goes with you.
What is he talking about?
These mountains keep the echo of every gunshot, every scream, and every man we left in the dirt. It all lingers in the snow. I want to thank you guys for all the support we've gotten on the trailers and kind of the press release and everything that's come out in the meantime, because it truly makes us feel a sense of accomplishment, that people are actually caring and there's a craving for the type of work we're putting out, because the real reason of doing this is to inspire you guys and make you feel something. I've been so inspired by movies in my life to the point where it's made me want to become an actor, want to direct and make my own movies. And if I can do that for other people, that's truly what I care about and what I'm passionate about. I want to give that feeling to millions of other people out there. So truly want to say thank you guys for all the support. Way bigger things to come in the future, and this is just the first step of it all. If there's anything in life that you want to go after, take it from me. Don't wait on somebody to give you the approval. Don't spend too much time planning, thinking, I don't think it's gonna be good enough. Nobody cares. Go out there and do it to the highest level you can, because you're only gonna grow from there. This is gonna be the absolute worst project I ever release in my life. But you have to start somewhere. It's only gonna be up from here. Go out there and turn your dreams into a reality. Appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.